how do you determine what the property is going to sell for? Nobody knows. I don't care how many transactions you do a year as a realtor. We do lots of them. I don't know how intimately you need to know the market, if at all, because whether you buy a home every 10 years right now, or you transact 10 deals a week, it's almost impossible to know what a home is going to sell for.
Hello, everybody. What's up? Good morning. This is Adrian, Ariel, episode 168 of KT Confidential. Thanks for joining us. This is the real estate podcast where we talk everything real estate. We talk investing, renting, buying, selling. And today we talk offer etiquette. How are you, Ariel?
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Whatever time people are listening or watching.
Correct. I'm doing very well. Thank you.
So Ariel's unlimited time today because he has 10% battery power in his laptop and no proper power cord. So he's jerry-rigged something to hopefully get us through this episode. You have to keep me abreast to whether or not you're losing power or maintaining it.
At this moment, I have 8% battery power. So
okay, let's carry on then. So
what brought up the topic for you?
So yesterday, all of yesterday, I suppose, was yesterday was a day and time that we had an offer presentation scheduled for one of our listings. And I just wanted to talk about how that kind of transpires our process to what that day looks like for us, because it is a very busy day for us, from morning until late in the evening, usually. And then more specifically, the etiquette side of things from the other real estate agents who are representing prospective buyers, because it's a very consistent thing that I find. We occasionally run into the occasional. A good real estate agent who I can speak praises of. But more often than not, we're dealing with people that aren't overly courteous. Would you agree? Or do you have better luck than me?
I mean, in any business, you are going to run into people that have good days, that have bad days, that have good paperwork, that have bad paperwork, that have good customer service skills, that have bad customer service skills. At the end of the day, putting a real estate transaction together requires really four parties, both realtors, the buyer, and the seller. Okay, so you have four lines of communication that have to be open and willing to speak indirectly through each other. And the difficulty, I think, becomes when, especially from a realtor's perspective, a day can be very different depending on how your week is going or how the month is going or what the market is doing, right? Like, as an example, on January 2nd, you might not have as many showings, as many phone calls or emails coming in. But on March the 2nd, you are, as a realtor, probably extremely busy with showings, listings, inquiries. The key, I think, becomes is you, as a realtor, have to manage everything that's going on. And you have to be extremely detail-oriented, and you have to be very patient. You have to be very diligent. And you have to have an extremely high attention to detail. And if any of those pieces are missing, somebody out of those four people in this transaction are going to feel disappointed in some way, shape, or form. Or in this case, I mean, you brought this up because we had an offer night set on one of our listings, and you were disappointed by the way some of the offers were handled from the others, from the other side. And we didn't talk too much about it, but we've seen it. over the last 10 years. And there's so many times where things don't go as smoothly. And then our job, I think, is just to mitigate all of those things and make sure that our clients don't really see that or feel that. And that's
For
what
sure.
can be frustrating from our perspective, is that, we are that intermediate kind of stop where nothing goes by us without it being, not perfect, but as close to perfect as possible. So it can be frustrating. It can be very, very frustrating if we don't have paperwork on time, if we don't have complete documents, if something isn't correct on the offer. It doesn't look good when we're presenting those kind of things to our clients. So everybody's got to do their part.
Agreed. Well, I'll explain.
I'm just gonna
nice
fashion the new KT toque here. This is our new slouch beanie. You can see the KT logo for those of you that are watching on YouTube. If you're listening to the podcast, you might want to hop on YouTube and
rub your microphone with it. They can hear it.
There you go. Can you hear that?
There you go.
Can you hear that?
That's like, what do they call it? Where you make all those sounds on the microphone. It's like
ASMR.
Whisper really quietly.
Look at my hat. They're really nice. You can roll it up. So depending on how you want to wear it, that KT logo
reversible
is reversible.
Very nice. I like that one.
Yeah. This is the kind of the charcoal black, whatever. I like it because you can really pull it down and you can even cover your neck or whatever, or you can, slouch it. Mine is all now messed up. There you go. There.
Looks good.
Thanks.
Suits you. And today's a good day for me to wear one because it's like 1.5 days past shaving. So my head's kind of like Velcro. It holds it in place nicely. But the day of shaving, it just slips right off my head.
Sure.
Anyways, I'll change the subject because your mind obviously went somewhere weird there.
No, it didn't.
Oh, okay. Okay. So
certainly, if we're talking about things slipping off your head, my mind was still focused on real estate. But thanks for coming out, pal.
All right. So I'll give you a quick rundown of how my day looks so people can understand the process. And then we'll just kind of quickly talk about, what went right, what went wrong, and how buyer real estate agents representing buyers can or should be setting their clients up for more success. So first of all, first thing in the morning, I personally export a big list of all the showings that have come through. And then I send an email to every single one. And in that email,
you just stop for a second because you're saying this is the process for our entire team.
Well, yeah, I'm talking about my day, so I'm referring to myself. But yes, everyone on the team will do this. So first thing in the morning, we as a team individually will send out emails to everyone that's shown the property and anyone that has an offer or a showing schedule, because there may be some showings that haven't gone through yet.
5%, by the way.
In that email, we, thank them for visiting. We say, offer presentation time is at 7 p.m. Please have the offers registered, which is basically conveying that an offer will be submitted or is signed by a certain time. In this case, I said 5:30, so an hour and a half prior.
Registered means you've got a signed offer. So not that you will be.
Well, no, you will be submitting an offer, but you do have one signed.
Correct.
And we always set that time earlier because by the offer presentation time, we want to have everything compiled, all the details, so it goes nice and smoothly. And I follow that email up with a phone call. Yesterday, I did that early afternoon, called everybody that came through, got through to about half of them, left about half, the other half got messages, voicemail, and or text. Anyways, I heard from maybe one or two people, And then no offers came in until 6:59 was the first offer that arrived. And I didn't even hear from the person. They didn't return my phone call. They didn't return my email. They just submitted an offer by email saying, here's our offer. No heads up, no conversation, nothing.
Yep. That happens.
It does. It's frustrating. In fact, earlier on in the process, while we were showing it and not allowing offers to come in, somebody submitted a preemptive offer, and they didn't even tell me it was coming either. I just got an email in my inbox a couple of days after it listed.
So, I mean, that can be for different reasons. You mentioned that to me last night. Sometimes it's because the buyers and the buyer's realtor, they want to see how many offers are actually in play, how many offers they're going to be up against. Sometimes it's
but that doesn't really explain it, because they should still have the courtesy of telling you there's going to be an offer coming in. They don't have to send it to you. So
but they might not know. They might not know. If there's 13 offers on the property, they might not submit anything. So, or they might not even have an offer signed at that point, right? If there's no offers or one offer or two offers, then, the agent goes back to the buyers and says, hey, there's 2 or 3 offers here. Do you want to throw your hat in the ring and see if you can grab it, at X amount of dollars or what have you? So, I understand sometimes that in that component, but, realistically, you're calling the listing agent and saying, hey, as a heads up, my buyers have interest and they may be putting an offer in. So keep me posted with any activity. Right. Is there anything that I need to know about this listing? Is there anything that I need to put in the paperwork that isn't in the MLS listing itself? Or, can you give me some information? How are you going to be handling the offers tonight? Those sort of things. So just open lines of communication makes a lot of sense. Now, from a buyer's perspective, you just got to be prepared. If you're going in last minute, you obviously don't have a deposit ready to go.
Right.
Which in this market, if you want to have a competitive offer, it's nice to be able to show the seller that, hey, as a prospective buyer, I have my $100,000 deposit ready for you in good faith. And I'm attaching it here with this offer ready for you to deposit at your brokerage's trust account as soon as you accept this offer, right? If you're putting an offer together last minute, chances are you don't have that deposit in hand.
Yes. And then there's the common question of what's the structure going to be? How many opportunities do we have to submit an offer or make a revision?
I just want to say a couple of things because I am running out of battery here. And this was just a quick topic, although my little rigging of this USB to USB-C adapter that I've plugged into our boardroom table here, it seems to be working. So I'm on life support here, but 2 things. Talking about offer night and protocol and etiquette, it sometimes, okay, I'm going to backtrack because how many times have you, Adrian, heard from either a client, a prospective client, or a buyer's realtor that they don't want to put an offer in because they don't want to get into a bidding war?
Something's really weird right now. It's the audio is off by like 3 seconds from your video.
I don't know. I'm fine on my end. Now.
It's back to normal. It was very strange.
I'll ask it again since I don't know, must be on your end. My end, everything's good. How many times have you heard from a buyer's agent or the buyer's
All the
or
time.
prospective
All the
client
time.
of yours? Right. So you heard that part.
Yes.
Here's the thing. It doesn't cost you any money to put an offer in on a property. We've talked about this before in past podcasts, like 167 other episodes. I know we've talked about this before, but because we're kind of on that topic, I'm going to put that message out there once again, because we're at the end of January. And in February and March, the markets right across the country, I'll even say North America, but certainly in Canada, definitely in Ontario, and of course, the GTA. The nice properties are going to get multiple offers, and you got nothing to lose. It doesn't matter if there's no offers, 1 offer, 20 offers, 600 offers. If your offer isn't accepted, it didn't cost you anything, just a bit of time. But if you never put in the offer, you'll never know if you were going to get it or not. And you might kick yourself in the head later when you find out another offer. Let me finish. Another offer, gets accepted, and you look at it and you go, "Oh, I coulda, shoulda, woulda." But then 30, 60 days from now, when you're still looking to buy a house, whether it's your primary residence or, more importantly, an investment property, you're going to look at it 30, 60 days from then and say, "Oh man, coulda, shoulda, woulda." So do you want to pay, January 31st? Do you want to pay January 31st price today? Do you want to pay February 15th price? You're closing maybe February 28th or 29th or whatever. So yeah, you might be paying a little bit in advance, but the market is still rising. So being
last night was
prepared and just
a good example
going
of this.
in and not being wishy-washy. Like, you can't be wishy-washy in this market. You cannot be wishy-washy in this market. You have to hike up your pants, get ready, get the money in order, make sure all the paperwork's ready to go, make sure the paperwork is good, be prepared.
I don't know if you can you hear me?
What were you going to say about last night?
Okay. It's funny because your video comes before your audio. So last night was a good example of that because the person who was ultimately the winning bidder, that agent wasn't actually going to submit an offer. And it was because he didn't think that his clients were going to be able to compete. And they had recently lost out on a couple of offers and they were very discouraged. So I was harassing him all day, not harassing him. It's a bit of a
strong word there.
Not the right choice of word, but I was, calling in and chatting, having discussions with him throughout the day and encouraging him to submit an offer. And we do this with everybody, even if we know the offer that they're going to submit isn't worth submitting, because our goal is to always have a lot of offers coming in. But he actually thanked me at the end and said that if it wasn't for me persuading him and encouraging him to encourage his clients, that they probably wouldn't have submitted an offer. So, I think real estate agents also get stuck in that funk where they think maybe their clients don't have a chance. It's not always just that their clients thinking that.
It's really hard. It's really, really hard right now. I don't remember very, very few circumstances in the last 10 years of being a licensed realtor. How do you determine what the property is going to sell for? Nobody knows. I don't care how many transactions you do a year as a realtor. We do lots of them. I don't know how intimately you need to know the market, if at all. because whether you buy a home every 10 years right now, or you transact 10 deals a week, it's almost impossible to know what a home is going to sell for.
There's always going to be those outliers that surprise us.
But that's all of them right now, right? Like, I mean, you can get a range and an idea. Like if you think a home might sell for $1 million, there's a good chance right now it might sell for 1.1. It might sell for 1.2. And there's lots of them that surprise us. Steve Bruman, a couple of weeks ago, sold a semi here in Milton. And we were all looking at it going, wow, didn't think it would sell for that. And certainly it then set a benchmark, right? Then you see all the other semis coming on the market that are using that. And they had multiple offers on it. So obviously there were other buyers that missed out. And so, it sets benchmarks, it sets precedences. But there's always, yes, as you put it, those outliers. But, a home is only worth as much as someone is willing to pay for it. So as long as there's somebody willing, every home sells. It's just a matter of how long does it take to sell, which in this market, usually isn't too long. And the only other question is how much is it going to sell for?
I would agree. And to sum up the conversation surrounding the etiquette component of this conversation, with agents not being courteous and giving a heads up, et cetera, I think I can summarize my thoughts on that by just saying the industry needs to elevate the overall level of professionalism from the way the way real estate agents answer their phone, which baffles me every day, to the voicemail messages, recordings, to the text messages I get from people saying, hey, what did this sell for? Or, hey, how many offers do you have, from an unknown number with no introduction? It just kind of summarizes there's a lack of professionalism. And there's some excellent realtors out there I work with regularly. So don't get me wrong, I'm not bashing the industry, but there's a big portion that needs to elevate their level of professionalism, and they will then represent their clients much better.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I mean, again, I made the comment in the beginning of this podcast where every industry has these kind of examples. I mean, in real estate, you're transacting. It's the biggest purchase anybody ever makes in their life, right? So when you hire a representative to represent you in this transaction, there's certain expectations. And let's face it, let's call a spade, because the entire general public knows it. When you're making 2.5% on $1 million purchase, that's a $25,000 commission. Yeah, you as the realtor might not be putting all of that in your pocket. You've got expenses, you've got brokerage fees, you've got licensing and insurance, and God knows right now in the world of realtor expenses, there is a whole bunch of line items that they're paying for out of pocket that reduce that income. But from the client's perspective, it's still being, a $25,000 commission is still being paid out. And that's a shit ton of money. So I don't know if I'm,
and you're talking about the smaller portion in the equation too,
me in court, and whatever. I mean, the average home price
I don't mean that from a percentage
$1 million
perspective.
In the GTA.
I mean the smaller portion of money from they're negotiating with $1 million, right? So you should have high expectations of the way they're representing you, not because of how much they're getting paid necessarily, but more so because of how much money's on the line.
It's both, right? Like my analogy of being sued for millions of dollars and hiring a lawyer. Would you want to hire the lawyer that has great etiquette, great service, got all the T's and I's dotted and crossed, is a good negotiator, is going to go to bat with you and for you, and has a long history of success and all that? Of course you're going to look for somebody that does that. I'm not looking for the cheapest lawyer to, represent me in that kind of situation. And it's no different here, right? And I've seen it time and time again, going back to your etiquette thing, the people that do it right are the people that are successful, and that you're probably going to pay a little bit more to have represent you. And that's worth every single cent. Especially when it comes down to negotiation and the etiquette part and the customer service part. So all of this, it started on this whole etiquette of you not getting any offers until late at night, not being conveyed, not being discussed, and kind of threw it all together last minute. And I know you were scrambling because of that a little bit last night to make it all happen on everybody else's schedule, because it certainly wasn't on yours.
Clearly, yeah.
But it all goes hand in hand, right? The whole etiquette thing is it's somebody that's not being respectful or thoughtful or diligent, I don't know, usually is also failing in other areas too.
Yeah. Well, if last night's any example of that, the winning bid last night was from the most professional realtor of the offers that were submitted. So that's often how it works out.
Deservedly so. Anyway, episode 168 of KT Confidential, the real estate podcast. You can stream this podcast anywhere you listen to your podcast. And if you want to watch us on YouTube, you can go directly to ktconfidential.ca and watch this and all the other 167 episodes where we talk about buying, selling, renting, being a landlord, being a tenant, tips for realtors, tips for getting in the industry, all of that fun stuff. So if you have any topics, you have any questions, leave us a comment. We love hearing from all of you. I think that's it for today. We'll see you next week for episode 169.
Audio's really messed up. Like it's 4 or 5 seconds
Am I still
behind.
Delayed my audio?
Yeah. It's so funny. I can see your video way before I get the audio.
And I've got 3% battery power left.
I'm trying to read your lips. All right. Have a good one. Take care. Ciao.